We would like to, on behalf of the county executive of Kitui, that is the chief officers, the advisors, and the county executive committee members, deputy governor and the governor, and other senior members and directors who are present, to issue a communique on our meeting which we have held here at Mutomo from Thursday 20th, that is yesterday, to today, Friday 21st, 2025. Our report is as follows. We have noted that the total county budget for next year will be based on money which you get as equitable share and own source revenue, and the total will be 13,726,000,000, and all that money is distributed amongst all the 10 ministries, office of the deputy governor, office of the governor, the county public service board, the county and the county assembly. Overall, we'll be spending a total of 4,468,000,000, which is the 2.6% on development, and a total of 3.4 as operations and maintenance, and 5.7 billion, which is for 2.2% as personnel emoluments. We have observed that we will be operationalizing the Facilities Improvement Financing, or FIF Act. We have one act which was enacted at the national level, which can be used by county governments, and here in Kitui we will start by utilizing that. But we have another act which we have sent, which will be sent shortly to the county assembly, because we are here reviewing the same, the county assembly committee responsible for health and sanitation. And once they look through it and they approve it, here in Kitui will be implementing the law which we ourselves has passed, because it's more relevant to ourselves. That act will allow monies collected in our health facilities like Kitui County and the referral hospital, Mwingi Level 4, and all other 308 health facilities currently in Kitui. They will be able to keep the revenues collected there and utilize them as source. But even as they keep that money, that revenue will be recognized as A&A, appropriations in aid, and will be recognized as revenue to the county government of Kitui, but it will not be swept to the county revenue fund as happens currently. We looked at the corporate governance and accountability systems of water service providers, and we looked mainly at Kituasco and Kimuasco, particularly the way they are governed, and governance here involved. Do they have a board of directors? And we have noted both have boards of directors which have been recruited. We have noted Kituasco has recruited a full-time managing director. The new board at Kimuasco in Mwingi is in the process of recruiting a managing director for Kimuasco. Having a board and having a CEO who is a managing director is very key to management and governance. And we think with those in place, we'll be able to improve the way those institutions are managed. There are reforms which have been introduced since the board in relating to Kituasco was put in place. And one of the reforms was working with the regulator, WASREB, to get the tariff, which was fixed more than 20 years ago, reviewed, just like it has been reviewed in many other counties for many water service providers, just like Kituasco. And that tariff has enabled Kituasco to collect better revenue than they were collecting before. So much so that the amount of money which will be giving them as subsidy will be reduced a lot more as we go forward, although it has not been eliminated. Then we have agreed reforms relating to the water we share with our colleagues in Machakos will be implemented, particularly with respect to the water from the dam, which is shared 70% coming to Kitui and 30% going to areas under Machakos County, Masinga area, Kalakala, and so forth. And going forward, we will be sharing the cost of electricity. Previously, Kitui County was taking care and responsibility of paying the entire electricity because there was no framework which had been established. So that will be put in place. The other thing we have said, non-revenue water or water where a company does not get any revenue or income should be reduced. It has reduced a bit, but not to the extent we would like it to be reduced. We want it to come to about 30%. Now it's about 42%. It used to be 44%, but it has come down. And what we want them to do is to install smart meters for each region, so that if it's a region like, say, Seko, there is a smart meter showing all the water going to Seko or going to any region within Kitui, and then each region will be assigned to a specific officer who will be managing that particular area, and to ensure there are no illegal connections, and bills and the correct bills are sent on time, and the money which is collected is remitted to the account of Kituasco. And we will continue working with them very closely to ensure the reforms and the measures which we have agreed will be implemented. We have come out with a new policy measure where Kituasco and Kemuasco will be assuming the responsibility of managing water, which is operated currently by certain communities, because whenever those community water schemes break down, the members of the community say, county governments, can you come in? And since the water department should minimize its involvement in direct water management, we have said Kituasco and Kemuasco will be doing that. And we have agreed in certain instances, because the law allows, the tariffs or the rates which will be charged to our people should not be as high as that which is charged maybe in the core urban areas. For example, in the core urban areas, people could be paying 5 shillings per 20-liter jerrycan. But in the community water schemes, the board of Kituasco and Kemuasco will look at each case on its merit and charge either 3 shillings or 2 shillings because we cannot equate everybody. And then they ensure those projects are properly managed. When the pumps break down, they are repaired quickly so that people don't stay for long periods without safe drinking water. The people who will be operating any kiosks in schemes run by Kituasco and Kimuasco will be from the community within the area within which the water is being supplied or operated. So they will not come from other regions. We'll go through a very transparent process to identify the people who will be operating those particular kiosks. We have also talked about the Kitui County Investors Sensitization Forum 2025, and we have agreed this will go ahead as planned on Thursday 13th to Friday 14th March 2025. We are talking about 3 weeks from now. We are looking at hosting an estimated 1,500 persons who will attend, majority of whom we expect to be current investors or potential investors from Kitui, but there is also room for other investors who do not necessarily come from Kitui. And the whole intention is we want our people to start the culture of investing, the culture of getting money from an investment and saving some of that money and plowing back that money so that that business can grow, as you also use the money for your own need if you are an investor. So we thought we should do that before we have the Kitui County International Investors Conference planned for February, end of February, early March next year, that is 2026. So this March 2025 Investor Sensitization Forum, it's not a conference, this is a forum, the conference will be next year, is targeting our own investors. It will be held at Kanyonyo, where the county, in conjunction with the national government, is putting up the Kitui County Aggregation and Industrial Park, which is at a very advanced stage. Some of you may have seen as you are driving towards Nairobi, or sometimes you are coming from Matu or Nairobi area and you are going to Mingo, coming to Kitui. You may have seen the trusses, the steel trusses of the go-downs, which will be constructed there, which are being constructed there, being finished. So that's where we will have this investors conference, and all arrangements are literally complete. And all amenities necessary to ensure when people come there are comfortable will be put in place, including eateries, including booths where people could display their things, including places reserved for emergency and ambulance services, including places where people can share ideas jointly in one venue. The next one was reviewing the progress towards the operationalization of the Kitui County Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2024, which is supposed to come into effect sometime next month after the County Public Service Board recruits the sub-county alcoholic drinks committees. We will be having one committee in each of the 8 sub-counties or constituencies in the county, and the members of those committees are supposed to be recruited by the County Public Service Board. They have already advertised, and they have indicated in the next 12 days or so, they will have completed the interviews and advise the county executive who are the successful people who can run the affairs of that committee. And one of their roles is to license, to recommend for licensing people who should operate alcoholic drinks outlets, that is bars and other places where alcohol is consumed. And as they do that, they must observe the current law, and that is not to have such facilities within 300 meters of learning institutions, unless they are very, very special circumstances to allow that, subject to certain things which, if you are allowed to do that, you must observe, because we know sometimes those facilities, the alcoholic drinks premises and so forth, they are used for even selling illicit brews, even selling drugs, where some of our children and even people are affected. We have noted from statistics which has been presented to us, currently only 38% of the total number of facilities are licensed. In other words, 62% of alcoholic outlets are not licensed, and the county government is not getting any revenue from those particular places. We have said this is totally unacceptable, but with the committees which will be in place this coming month, that issue will be put to rest, and we expect more revenue to come as a result. The other thing which we looked at is operationalization of the Sand Act, the Kitui County River Basins Sand Utilization and Conservation Act of 2024. We've been given a report showing the process of operationalization that act. Now we are to start with each of the 5 basins, electing their representatives to go into an interim cooperative society for the sand basin. We have Z2 sand basin, which is Mwingi North. We have Enziu River Basin, it's Mwingi Central. We have Yaktia River Basin, which is partly in Mwingi Central and Mwingi West. We have Thua River Basin, some in Kitui Central and Kitui East and Kitui South. And we have the Tiva, the biggest is the Tiva River Basin, which stretches along many wards, about 14 of them. So they started with the, first of all, getting the members there to elect 3 people from each of the ward, and then they had elections and they elected representatives. Some of you members of the press, you participated, and we thank our people because they were very active in participating in those. And eventually they chose members who represent each of the river basin in what we call the county committee, which will be now looking at licenses, which will license applications from each of the river basin. I have appointed, because the law required me as governor to appoint the chairperson. I've appointed the chairperson. Is somebody known to you? Is Mr. Benjamin Mukulo. He participated in the Sand Task Force, which I appointed some time ago, and which was very instrumental in making of this particular law. And the law requires the secretary to be the director for natural and mineral resources in the ministry responsible for mineral and natural resources where matters sand falls. And he has not been recruited, or she has not been recruited. The County Public Service Board, which is required to recruit the person as advertised, and in the next 80 days or so, we are likely to have them conclude that particular process. But we have agreed the minister can nominate somebody, an officer, either the chief officer or one of the directors or deputy directors or even assistant directors, to be the secretaries of that particular committee in the interim period pending the reporting of the person who will be recruited. So all the structures are in place now. We know there has been some concern that Sand Ferry, which was a hazard, has still been going on, although it went down a bit, but it's been going on. And some of the people who are involved in those trades, we know probably they've been monitoring to see how far we have gone. They've been monitoring to see whether the county court is operational, which we finished constructing. You may have seen it just above the Kitui law courts, and which we are waiting to be given a date when the Chief Justice will come so that we can open it. Because some of the county laws, not only the one relating to sand, even other county laws, the matters arising therefrom will be decided and adjudicated at that county law courts, but operated by the judiciary, and the director for public prosecutions will also perform the same duty which they perform at the other courts, which are entirely or 100% under the judiciary. Then the other one which we looked at is the Kitui scorecard, the achievements we have achieved. We have come up with a conservative figure of the number of projects, particularly the big ones, or mid-sized to large ones, and we have a total of 1,500 projects, which we've been able to review this time. Others we will be reviewing going forward. And all those projects, they've been implemented with a total of 6.5 billion. And that's our project for the last 2 years. You know, since we came in office in August 2022, today we are in February 2025, and will be 3 years in August 2025. And most of the projects for this financial year, we could not count them. So we have just counted projects for 2 years. And as I said, not all of them. But we will be giving you an updated figure much later. What we wanted to see is to appreciate what each ministry has implemented, to see how well spread the projects which they have implemented in all the 40 wards, and to see where there are gaps which needs to be filled. And also to create a data bank which could be shared with our ward administrators, sub-county administrators, and village administrators, so that they can explain to people. During my first term in office, that is 2013-2017, we published a scorecard for each ward. We have agreed, after 2 years, if you publish such a booklet, it may bring out a picture which may not look very balanced. So we have said we will publish one after the 4th year. Even last time when I was in office, the one which we published per ward was during the 4th year. I think by that time we'll be able to reasonably assess how far we have gone.